Apparently, it's still possible to find a woman with a shred of awareness who understands that a relationship isn't a fairy tale where everything gets resolved on its own for both sides.
I think that in today's society, the demands on men are too high. Demands on his family, his height, his education, his parents. I think this is not something that can be achieved in just one generation. It requires the accumulation of 2 or 3 generations. I believe a good marriage relationship should be one where 2 people progress together. Even if, in the end, they can't stay together, both become better through the process and reach a height they originally could not have achieved alone. I think this kind of relationship is worthwhile, regardless of the outcome.
Although we've shown various videos on the channel featuring women with extremely high demands on men in relationships, we can't generalize. Just like anywhere else in the world, there are still women who have woken up to reality and understand that relationships aren't just based on money or status. In today's video, we'll explore the perspectives of some Chinese women who have realized that to demand something of value, they need to offer something equally valuable. It seems they have understood how the market works. Simple supply and demand. Just as an average man cannot dream of a woman above average, an average woman cannot expect an outstanding man. What do you think about this?
What does it mean to have high standards when choosing a partner? Many people ask me, are my standards too high? I just want to find someone who is more or less like me or at least meets my criteria. But if, during the matchmaking process, almost everyone you are interested in isn't interested in you, then your standards are probably too high. If you insist on setting your criteria based on those who are not interested in you, that's just naive. If you really want to find a partner quickly, choose from those who are interested in you, selecting someone with the fewest shortcomings who meets your core needs. If you are always focused on those who are not interested in you, aren't you just wasting your own time? Of course, if you don't mind the time or being rejected and have an attitude of better alone than in bad company, then I support you. Sticking to your standards is not the most important thing, but if you want to break free from the curse of failed matchmaking, it might be because you're not attractive enough to the type of person you want or you haven't realized this. You may not be interested in people at the same level as you, and you're not willing to accept someone similar to you and grow together. Instead, you only want to meet someone better than you to improve yourself all at once. The worst part is you haven't made any effort to improve yourself, or if you have, you haven't succeeded yet. Everyone talks about love, hoping it will suddenly come to them, but they forget that love requires value to attract and needs to be nurtured with care. I'm Teacher Sher from Ishi Mingmei Marriage Consultancy, here to discuss these matchmaking issues with all of you. I would like to ask for some advice, Ms. Mu. How can I quickly develop a relationship with someone I met through a blind date? Because every time we meet, it feels like getting to know each other all over again. We meet once, and then the next time it takes about a month to see him again, which is a bit frustrating. So, do you usually talk between meetings? Personally, I don't really like chatting, and he is about 2 or 3 years older than me, so we are both somewhat similar in that regard. I feel like I have something in common with him. We are both very rational people. When a man confesses his love to me or tries to pursue me, I'm not easily moved or touched. Let me tell you, your problem is not that you are rational. You are wrong. Your perception of feelings is not rational because you just kept mentioning one thing. That it is very hard for a man to move you. That doesn't mean you're rational. What does it mean? It means you are closed off. You're closed. It's hard for you to accept someone, to build a close relationship with someone. But you can't do that, right? You haven't opened up. Why is it so hard for you to accept a man? You are closed off. You can't open up. Actually, it's not because you're rational. It's because you're too idealistic. Maybe that's right, because when I try to get to know a guy, I'm always comparing him to my ideal boyfriend. As a result, I always end up feeling disappointed. So, I'm telling you, your issue is that you think you're rational, but you're not. You are overly idealistic, and because of that, you close yourself off. Your understanding of emotions and self-perception is disconnected. The person you envision, the one you're looking for, and the environment you're in right now are out of sync. It's a case of unclear self-perception. If you were a rational woman, you wouldn't have waited until 29 to be stuck in this situation. If you were truly rational, you would have started planning in your early 20s, paving the way to find the right man. But you didn't do that because you're too idealistic. You are still looking for a man who can move you. Does feeling moved matter? Being moved has nothing to do with marriage. So, your understanding of emotions came too late. This guy may only be 1.60 meters tall, and you are 1.69, but you should know that, based on the current situation between you and this guy, he may not even take you seriously. But I think he doesn't seem that popular in the dating market. From what he has told me, including his emotional experiences, he might not be as popular as you think. Just because he isn't that popular doesn't mean he lacks other qualities. He may not be very good looking, and I personally find it hard to convince myself from a sensory standpoint. If you talk like this, there's nothing to talk about. You see, if you talk like this, there's no way forward. The two of you have no way to take the next step, so I think it's time to give up. But to be honest, I want to tell you the truth. I'm thinking of how to say this in a way that you can accept and won't hurt you. Have you ever thought about this? The man you look down on doesn't even take you seriously? The point I want to make is this. You asked me how to move forward in your next relationship. Honestly, I can't give you an answer. You have a very strong sense of self-respect. You are the type who will never lower yourself in front of a man. Even though you speak softly, you are extremely tough on the inside. It's impossible for you, including in this relationship. Right. I was just saying that this guy isn't very proactive, perhaps he is chasing you. Actually, in everything you just said, you were pushing back, trying to prove that you didn't like him. You can't make yourself settle down and seriously acknowledge or accept that in some relationships, you can be in a lower position. You can't accept this reality. If you can't accept it, you won't be able to adjust your mindset when you meet a man with better conditions later on. Honestly, this is a bit difficult. Let me say it straight. Your level of understanding about dating is too low. In the future, if you meet a man with better conditions, you won't be able to adjust your mentality to communicate with him. Really, I don't know if I've made myself clear enough, or if you understand what I'm saying. So, should I just communicate with him more and not hold back? For example, during the Qixi festival, he didn't give me any flowers or anything. He didn't even express himself. Why didn't you think about reminding him? Why didn't you say, "Tomorrow is Qixi, I want something. Can you buy it for me?" Do you think if you asked, he wouldn't buy it for you? He would definitely buy it, but I find it difficult to bring it up. There you go, that's the problem. I just very gently pointed out where your problem is. You don't know how to speak like a woman in a relationship. The way you interact with him is like two men. You don't know how to accept yourself. Your pride is too strong. You can't accept being soft and expressing your needs. You know, for a 32-year-old man who makes 600,000 yuan a year in the internet industry, he has a lot of pressure. Right now, he may be anxious to find a woman to settle down with. But you are still treating the relationship like a romance. You and he are not on the same level at all. Your understanding of love is too low level. I'm telling you, it's going to be a bit difficult. Honestly. Have you ever heard the saying that caring too much about companionship can actually harm your relationship? In all interpersonal relationships, you should focus more on growth rather than just companionship. You're always concerned whether your boyfriend will be attentive at all times, if he will reply to your messages immediately, if he will greet you every day, if he will say good morning and good night. When I started dating, I told him that in a relationship, I hoped that both of us could grow and improve. Regardless of whether you want to achieve your dreams or meet your work goals, I won't hold you back. When necessary, I can also assist. I also hope to achieve my own personal goals during the relationship. Many women, when they can't be completely independent, end up focusing most of their attention on companionship. This is why many people now think that being in a relationship is good. I'm not saying that a relationship doesn't need companionship, but you don't need a man to pick you up and drop you off every day, bring you food every day, or teach you how to survive and earn money. If you're uncomfortable in a relationship, it's because you're pursuing things you don't need. On one hand, you want a spiritual connection, and on the other hand, you think companionship is great. And things you could do alone when you were single now seem impossible without a man by your side. If he doesn't accompany you, you think the relationship isn't worth it. If he does accompany you, you think it's just average. That's why many people say that being in a relationship isn't as good as being single. The relationship seems tasteless, but it's hard to let go. When I was single, I used to go out alone to shop, watch movies, and eat out. After I started dating, I still reserved a lot of time to do many things on my own. I hope we respect each other's different interests, and that he doesn't have to sacrifice his time to support my growth in love, as that can't be reported immediately. Many insights can only be experienced by yourself. If you face difficulties and always ask others for advice or help, this can actually hinder your personal growth. Don't see companionship as so crucial. This way you can find a way to interact that works better for both of you. To be honest, no matter who you marry, in the end, you will always feel some regret because there is no perfect person in this world. If you have too high expectations and demand perfection from your partner, you will end up feeling unhappy. True marital happiness is not about finding a perfect person but accepting both the good and the bad in each other. The reality of marriage is that most couples will criticize each other but still remain together. It's that kind of relationship where, when not arguing, you would do anything for your partner, but during a fight, you think they deserve all the bad things. After the argument, you wonder, what would I do if they weren't here? In relationships, it is common to criticize each other while also depending on one another. Feeling lonely in marriage is also normal because, in this world, no one can completely understand what the other feels. Even if you share a bed with your partner every day, they cannot fully comprehend your emotions. Living together, having someone by your side when challenges come, is already quite good. The biggest fear in marriage is one-sided effort. If only one person is putting in effort and the other only takes, the balance of the marriage will inevitably be off. So, while enjoying the love your partner gives you, try to also put in more effort. Love should be mutual. Understanding and accepting each other will make the marriage last longer. Do you agree? Girls almost gather all the bugs of those who want to get married but can't. For example, the first point is the wooden wall. It's said that girls have a wooden wall in their hearts, but the premise of having a wooden wall is not finding someone who can lead you in all aspects. There is no person in the world who is willing to marry someone they can lead in every aspect. The essence of marriage is value matching. It is balanced. This means you are better in some things and the other person is better in others. Dreaming of someone who can improve all aspects of your life is a mistake. Such expectations are illusions of excessive gain. Don't be deceived into thinking there's someone extremely capable, with magnetic personality, who will lead you. Such a person won't be looking for you. The second point is that what you consider good about yourself might be very different from what the other person considers good. For example, in all dating profiles, when girls talk about their qualities or points of value, they mention things like liking movies, traveling, or practicing yoga. In the world of men, these points are not seen as significant values for a wife. For some men with fewer resources, these activities might even be seen as flaws, like spending money on hobbies that have no practical value. So, you'll notice that from a female perspective, what is considered self-value is often not seen as value by the partner and may even be viewed as a defect. This is a difference in thinking between men and women. It's like if a guy says, "I'm great at an online game. I'm the best in our region and I'm about to join the national team." He thinks his value is high. But in the real world, this could just be seen as a hobby, and he might be viewed as someone who only plays video games, which isn't valued. Therefore, when presenting yourself, don't just talk about your personal qualities. You are excellent, but for marriage, you should focus on the value you bring to the partner. Many girls face difficulties because they don't understand why, being so good, they can't find someone. This is because the value you have is only your personal value, which might not align with what the partner is looking for and might even decrease the partner's perception of value.
This video highlighted a fundamental truth about relationships. The idea of finding a partner who can lead every aspect of your life is an illusion. The true essence of marriage lies in value, compatibility, and mutual balance. The expectations of finding someone who can improve all aspects of your life are unrealistic and often lead to disappointments. As we saw, what you consider valuable may not be seen the same way by your partner. What is important to you might not be as relevant to the other person, and vice versa. The key is to understand and adjust your expectations to reflect this reality and focus on the value you truly bring to the relationship. Now it's your turn to reflect. How do your expectations align with the reality of what you can offer and what you're seeking in a partner? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If you found this video insightful, give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more discussions on what really makes a relationship thrive. Let's explore these issues together and find the balance needed for healthier and more satisfying relationships. See you next time.